We pay the cost to be the boss. Invest without loss. Young boss media, your coverage get tossed. From lab stabs, videos too. Tapped in the movies, the who's a who.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Culture Dome. We're actually sitting here with one of the sponsors of the Art Boss Harlem Renaissance Rebirth event, Robert Montgomery.
Yes.
Amongst so many other beautiful entrepreneurial pursuits that you have going on. But you were at the Art Boss event too, right?
I was, yeah. We were a liquor sponsor. Sinju.
What is it?
Sinju Japanese whiskey. We sponsored and we did cocktails for the guest.
And did you go to the opening ceremony?
Yes, it was the opening ceremony that evening, yep.
Okay, so between the three of us, we went every night. So all of us saw the whole thing collectively, even if it wasn't together.
It was an amazing event to be at.
Yeah, I was felt honored to be part of it. I think it was actually very relevant. The pieces were outstanding. The artists actually outstanding. And I think it was a great event. It was very well curated by Monica and her team. So yeah, I think it went off very well.
And you're a native New Yorker.
Yeah.
We know that.
Yeah.
So Harlem Renaissance Rebirth, that's right up.
Harlem, New York, man, in the building.
West side?
West side, you know what I'm saying? But
we do not have any affiliation.
Do you feel like, you know what I'm saying? Do you feel like just being at the Art Boss event like opened the creative side of your business?
No, we've actually done, because we are a liquor company, we get approached with cultural events daily. But because this was Harlem, I'm from Harlem, so, I thought it important to be part of it, especially the whole Renaissance, because there's a Harlem Renaissance going on currently in Harlem, so I just thought it was appropriate.
Yeah, it's good, it's good.
And now, give me the rundown now of all your titles, because I feel like if I try to list them all, I'm going to miss one.
Title of everything.
Right,
man.
so we have first the whiskey, right? That's the obvious beginning because we already heard about that.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us all of the things that incorporate the entrepreneur that is Robert Montgomery.
Well, I mean, I've been, on that path as an entrepreneur from a kid. You hear
what was your first hustle?
Selling newspapers.
Oh.
In the Polo Ground houses.
Hey.
Where you from, huh?
Yeah, there was a newsstand. African-American gentleman, Mr. Hayes, would give us papers on consignment. Me and my brother used to walk up and down, paper boy, selling papers. But coming from Harlem during that time, as I was sharing with you guys earlier, during that time when I was growing up, it was the hustle culture. You had, for those who don't know who he is, but Nicky Barnes and those guys were running in Harlem, flashy cars, the Rucker. We had all the professional ball players, Dr. J and everybody coming uptown to play. So we were kind of enamored with that whole culture and hustling and getting money, right.
Who were you listening to? What was the type of music that was a soundtrack for your hustle?
Back then, Marvin Gaye, Temptations.
Okay, cool.
A sweet side to the hustler, huh?
Oh, yeah. I mean, romanticize, this music is, universal.
Absolutely.
So, popular. I mean, I listen to rock, culture, classical. I played in a band when I was younger, so we were in all types of different.
What'd you play?
The bass guitar.
I saw you do this. So I
bass guitar. Yeah.
Right. All right.
So, because we had a little reunion recently, but growing up in the Polo Grounds was very interesting because we didn't know it at the time, but we had a lot of cultural things going on in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So we were able to participate and be involved with things that stimulated interest in music, art, and different things. And, my parents were actually really pushing that for us to be involved when we were out in the street getting in trouble. We were getting some cultural lessons at home.
So I know you were saying you didn't actually know exactly what you were going to do.
No.
You didn't go out and go, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get a liquor company. I'm going to make sure that we brand. And then I'm going to have a media company.
No.
We're going to, none of that. So where did it start? Where's the seed?
So I used to listen to hip hop music in my house and think of ideas, the whole clothing line thing. So I'll share a quick story with you. You guys know the African American College Alliance?
No, I'm not familiar with it.
It was old, but it's making emerging, coming back into the marketplace. But Cosby Show was very popular during that time.
Oh, man,
Right?
let's be careful.
Okay, well, I'm
Oh man, don't mention Bill Cosby
No,
now.
I'm messing with you.
but at the time, he was very, popular and influential in the African American community because of that show. But during the time in the show, he used to wear Morehouse. And,
Yeah.
Represented with pride.
representing that. But at the time, there wasn't anything like that in the marketplace. So I thought about trying to do that. Like, oh, okay, you got Notre Dame, you got Yale, but you don't have African American college collegiate wear. I just went about trying to write the colleges, and they basically didn't respond. But somebody else just said, "I'm gonna do it," and they did it, and they got paid. College African American College Alliance.
There you go.
Oh.
Right.
What would you say are some of the challenges you faced as you was creating the liquor company?
The liquor business is very cash sensitive. You need a lot of money to be in this business. So what I didn't share with you guys earlier in some of the conversations we're having, one of our Copa Imperial was our first brand, but we went into a partnership with Tiny, T.I.'s wife. Tiny's Tequila is our brand.
Right.
Again, we just happen to have relationships and resources where we could call people. People knew we were in the liquor business, so we were able to get things that somebody just coming off the ground cold would have to pay for. I come out of television, as I said, in business development. My partner comes out of licensing and branding. One of our other associates is a investment banker. So between the group of us, we were able to pull resources together to really kind of get it going to a point. But there were many days where we actually shake hands, said we gave it a good shot. Somebody would call and said, "Yo, I heard y'all in the liquor business." Right. I got 10 grand.
Oh,
somebody else would call a month later. "Yo, what? I heard you in the liquor business. I got 20." And we were able to kind of
negotiate.
Actually kind of keep the doors open.
Okay. Sure.
And then one day we got the call, somebody, with some deep pockets wanted to be involved. Hence where we are now, we're expanding and growing.
Good. What made you keep the door open, even though you were having those challenges at the beginning? Because it sounds like, who knows, right? Who knows how this thing is going to go?
Right.
What made you keep going forward?
Because we actually knew we were onto something, and we had gotten it to a point that is just consistency. We just need, and we have that stick-with-itness. Like, we got it going this far. Let's figure it out how we're going to get to the next state playing small ball. Let's play small ball to get here. And as then somebody will recognize it, or we may have a resource that comes forward, which what happens, and we just kind of do small ball, daytime compartments. What do we need to do this day and that day to keep the doors open?
Right.
And we've just been successful, and then finally we got the call.
Now you talk about you have a team of people that you work with now. Now being in this business, it's always good to have a team, so you don't feel like you're taking all the responsibilities on your own. Now, what was it like, actually finding your business partner and really actually establishing a relationship of trust, and along with the many other people within your team?
Sure. So one of my current business partners, who was he and I basically came together and started the company. Initially, we weren't on the same page. We were bosses in our own right and trying to come together. Always going to be that conflict, which I found over the years in trying to find partners, because everyone doesn't have the vision, or you may have the vision and then they may not see it and you just can't come together. We just got in a lockstep at some point. This is my role, this is your role. You do that, I do this, and let's move it forward. And once we got in lockstep together, we were able to grow the business.
Now, that wasn't your first partner, you said?
No, I've had several partners in different things throughout the years where, I'm an idea guy. I'm the dreamer. And, you'll bring people in, but they'll want to be part of what you're doing.
But contribute.
They're not contributing.
Right.
And then it starts to get into that conflict where, like, I can do this myself. Then it starts to get, the animosity, and then things don't work out.
What did you find out was the right recipe for you? Because you're an idea guy. So what do you need when you sort of work out the other side of that in a partnership?
Well, some of the partners that I've actually gotten into business with in the past that didn't work out were people who really, I don't want to, it's civil service minded. When I say civil service minded, you're used to going to work, getting a check. But somebody that
wasn't you.
I've actually knew that was a means to an end for me. Okay. I just always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and at some point I'll figure it out. But now I got to pay the bills. But I'm willing to go ahead. I didn't have any children or anybody that I had to be responsible for other than me. So if I failed, I failed. I just got to get up.
But at least you tried and you made an
try,
effort.
yeah. I'm one of those people that I'm not scared to take risk, and I'll try and kind of push it forward. If I fail, I'm failing forward because I'm learning something as I'm going along. I may fail, but I've learned and gained some resources that I can utilize at some point in the future, which is what I did.
And I feel like that's actually, I'm happy that you said that you're a kind of person that's not afraid to take risks, because a lot of young guys, or even just a lot of older people who want to start their own business after working, whether a 9 to 5 or whatever, they're afraid to, make that move because they're like, oh, I have benefits, I have this, I have that. But it's like, if you want to take control of your life and have the freedom and ability to do what you love, then maybe taking a risk is going to help you. But like you said, you tried and you made efforts. So regardless if you failed or not, so I would say that's a good piece of advice, to everyone out there.
I would say to anyone, is listening and hears my voice, you have to take risk. Because if you're in the safe zone, you're never going to know what you can do, what you're uncomfortable with. I'm at my best a lot of times when I'm uncomfortable because I got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Right. So if you figuring something out, you kind of learn. When I say failing forward, you learn skills that you don't even know you have.
Yeah.
A lot of times, because you're kind of putting yourself to the test. You got to figure it out. You got to learn something. You got to read more. You got to hear from somebody who's actually sharing something with you and listen and apply it. A lot of people just, hey, man, listen, they'll give up. I'm comfortable with getting a check and the benefits. But again, you got to be, willing to go put yourself in situations you're uncomfortable with.
Right.
And know who you are as a person.
Yeah, because I think one of the hard things of it, right, one of the sort of clouds that hangs over people is stability.
Yeah.
Right? They think, hey, if I leave this boat to go to the self-employed entrepreneur, trust myself kind of route, I don't know how that's going to go. I don't know if every 2 weeks I'm going to be able to pay these bills.
Yeah, because suppose if I lose my job,
because like if I got fired, that would be, you'd be like, oh, perfect time for me to try something new.
Right.
But then to say, I'm going to leave, I'm going to start my own thing, where do you think the confidence for you came from to know, even if I'm not stable now, I could get there?
Well, I mean, first of all, I've been doing things, even as I was working, people knew that, I always had something outside I was hustling.
Yeah.
And even when I told you at Time Warner, when I got to know the guys at the record labels and things like that, everybody has a little side hustle doing something. And once you kind of get, to know the person and you kind of get past, that comfort zone, like, hey, man, listen, I'm doing this. And they, hey, man, I'm doing this. So somebody's always doing something. I just so happened to be in a position where I was doing this on the side, but I was losing interest in my day-to-day and be calling in with stories. And they came to a thing where, like, look, man, they're going to either fire you or you got to make a decision.
You could just see it. You weren't into it anymore.
You was losing interest along the way.
Because I wake up in the morning, damn, I ain't going to the end of the day. Listen, my nose stopped up. And I'm saying that to anything because I didn't want to do it. I had more fun doing this, and I was excited about doing what I was doing. And eventually, this came to that. What you want to do? This is what I want to do.
But it feels like your natural pace is a little bit more geared towards entrepreneurship than
that's what makes me happy. Right. Yeah. That's what made me happy. Basically, be able to do things on my own time.
Whenever you feel like it.
When you feel, because it's work.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But not
since he been here. Don't get it wrong.
No, it's work. Don't get it wrong. Do not get this wrong. This is work, but it's that you're doing it for yourself and you're building something on your own as opposed to being compensated, which is not bad. I mean, you're being compensated by working at a company, but I'm looking at stuff here. We created this. This is a brand what we created. Right?
How does it feel?
It feels damn good.
Because I can't imagine.
It's yours. You know what I'm saying?
One, I can't imagine thinking of the idea, running into all the things, and then now sitting in front of all these bottles, which are
these are your accomplishments.
Yeah, I mean,
this is only part of it. This is like
a good amount.
Yeah,
and then that's not even mentioning the media company.
We do stuff, and all of these things are. What's also important and to make note of is you have a platform that you could discuss with other entrepreneurs or other people who are thinkers. You have a platform now that you have something to talk about, so other opportunities start to come about when you're doing business and you have your own platform.
Let's take a quick break because we're going to pick back up. We're going to play a game. We're going to ask you some things about your media company, including your role in making that movie we all love so much.
Okay.
Cool. So we're going to go on a little break and we'll be right back. This is Robert Montgomery. I'm Chantell.
This is Dajoir.
And this is the Culture Dome.
Man, I tell you, but we got to do this here together. It take a team to achieve the dream. We pay the cost to be the boss. Invest without loss. Young boss media, your coverage get tossed.